Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to a new series called Press Start, and John was really trying hard to keep in this laughter. Yeah, this is a new series called Press Start, and we're gonna kill two birds with one stone because this year is the 15th anniversary of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and 10 years ago, Assassin's Creed 3 came out. With me as always is John, and yeah, if you're new here and you clicked on this thumbnail for Assassin's Creed 3, hello, welcome. Before we get started with Assassin's Creed 3 in general, I want to ask, how did you start with Assassin's Creed? Like, what drew you into the franchise?
I will say I did not start with Altair. I started with Ezio Auditore, which you are dressed up as. I appreciate that. But I did start on AC Brotherhood, and I knew nothing of it besides, my god, oh god, you also have the little knife, the hidden blade. I'm so sick. I should have brought...
But I might actually impress
brought mine. But yeah, so I pretty much just started with AC Brotherhood. Knowing nothing about the franchise, all I knew is that you're an assassin, you sneak around. Probably one of my first sneaking games besides Metal Gear Solid. And Splinter Cell. Going into it, I was like, damn, there's a whole lore that came in with it, and I got to see historical figures. Probably AC, I was already like a historical fan, like I like the stories of World War II, horrible events, but I loved learning about history. Here, this was my first time ever hearing of Italy with Leonardo da Vinci and everything like that. And it pretty much caught my eye. I was like, I want to buy every Assassin's Creed game and keep playing them and learning more history. I learned more of history in Assassin's Creed more than I did in my own school. Like, people got so shocked that I knew who Paul Revere was. And I was from a game. I read no books.
Well,
yeah.
As for me, I started Assassin's Creed on the PSP. I forgot what the full title was, but I did start with Altair. And then I saw the trailer for 3, and I was like, fuck, this shit's hype.
Do you remember the beta? Like the beta test video that they released?
Yeah.
Long time before AC3 was like to be released.
Yeah.
And this shit was Red Dead Redemption 2 level of graphics.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, look at the snow, it's moving, look how he fights, it flows, look how he interacts with his environment when he parkours.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like the entire style of Connor was completely different from the final product. There's a guy who I think was supposed to be Hatham.
Yeah.
Beside him, you know the video, like it's at night, he's killing redcoats, you're interacting with like people in the camp, and I was like, wow, I can't believe we're getting this in 2012. And I was like, wow, we're in the future. Nah, it never came out.
Like that?
Yeah, we got like a Watch Dogs-esque kind of vibe from it, like they showed us the beta, they were like, wow. They showed us the real game, I was like, this is not what I expected, but okay.
Right? But yeah, I also got into it because I was a huge history buff, and like going to unique, exotic locales such as Renaissance Italy and Constantinople were, a major draw. And again, seeing the trailer for 3, I was like, alright, I'm into this. And then I will say I am one of those people who, no matter what, I am a sucker for AC. Yeah, depending on the quality. Like, this kind of moving forward is literally like, oh.
It just stocks, just going up and down.
Yeah.
Nah, like, I would say the best trilogy, and well, there was only one trilogy. And it was mostly Ezio's. Was probably my favorite, but best solo Assassin's Creed, Black Flag. I haven't played Syndicate yet, and I only played a little bit of Unity. Never touched on the Spartan one. Never touched the
Egyptian one.
Egyptian one and the Origins. I am kind of excited for Mirage. Because we're kind of going back to like that time where I think Altair, because this does feel like we're going back to that age.
Yeah.
Like we were in Constantinople, but this time we're in Baghdad.
Yeah. So this came out in 2012, and safe to say it was the most hyped game of that year. And like going to the story, like we don't start out with Connor, we start out with Haytham in London. He assassinates the guy, and you're like,
Hey guy,
Yeah.
who's he?
We don't know.
Okay, and like the whole time we were like, shit. Okay, we don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Probably in the trailer we saw who he was, but we don't know who this guy is. We all know that the main character is the guy in the box art.
Yeah.
Where is he though? This guy might be his dad. He kind of looks like him.
Yeah. He is
yeah.
sent off to America to help this order try to find this this mysterious place that they need to do stuff. And you're like, oh, order, but like they drop hints of like we need to maintain order itself. Like that doesn't sound too assassin. Anyway, you go to America, you learn the new Suntukan mechanics, and like
Excuse me?
yeah. Because right, it's like hold R2 and then press square when the guy's about to hit you. And then this one just press circle.
Yeah. This one, in my opinion, even though I do love Brotherhood and Revelations, this one might probably have the best combat mechanic. And the actual fight looks really good and satisfying. Sure, the enemies kind of just stand there unless they're a brigadier, somebody bigger with a bigger health bar. If they're not that, they are just standing dummies for you just to kick ass. So if you want to like blow off steam, just play a little bit of AC3.
Yeah, they're just standing there to get clubbed by Haytham or Connor.
Yeah. Or just hatchet, like murder style, serial killer style. I'm like, oh god.
And then you land in America, you meet Charles Lee and the rest of the people you're supposed to meet up with, like William Johnson, and like rescue other people like Church and Pitcairn. Pitcairn's a general, and if you know history,
Benjamin
like,
Church, Pitcairn.
You're like, that's one of the generals in the American Revolutionary War that comes later.
Yeah, and Thomas Hickey.
Yeah.
God, there are a lot of William Johnson and no, I think that's it.
Yeah. And then also you learn the new shooting mechanics. It's no longer, hold still while I do my Iron Man medieval hand cannon.
But to be honest, I kind of like that more.
Than a flintlock.
Yeah, like, it was very assassin-y. Like, it was really cool that, hey, we can use,
Yeah.
but we're doing this?
Yeah, and people are like, what are you holding up against you? Bang!
100 years before they even made up the pistol?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because if you aim a pistol, you're like, oh, I see how it is. Fuck you, then.
Yeah, right. It's a gun.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's like...
yeah. But yeah. You learn that during one of the ambushes that you do against your own forces, the British, you rescue Zio, and you're like, I wonder if this is Connor's mom. And like Haytham tracks her down, and like, yeah, sure enough, because like he gets into a fight and she cleans out his wounds, and he's like, oh man, I like this lady very much.
I don't think it was just because she took care of him. It was because she was very like upfront about everything. She was very direct. She pretty much had assassin skills.
Yeah.
And that surprised Haytham. Haytham is supposed to be a seasoned assassin, not a assassin if you've played the game, but he's a really good assassin, and she's pretty much kind of nearing like equal of skill, and Haytham like that.
Yeah, and like I like their first interaction when he's like, "My name, Haytham." She's like, "Why are you talking so slow?"
I can speak English, you bitch.
she needs help with Edward Braddock, who is the British guy who's treated them poorly, and she knows where the temple is. And then they do that, and the last ambush where you, of course, you do the assassin thing of like gathering information before you strike, and when you're ready to strike.
Look, okay, yeah, we're cutting this video down to a very bite-sized thing when this entire game has like probably 20 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, if you complete everything, probably 20, 30 hours. But yeah, they ambush him, and you're like, huh, Washington's with the British guy. History. It's a funny thing.
Yeah. Calling people out right there. Right
you're
there.
like, alright, he wasn't that old when the war started, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Kills Braddock, and you kind of learn from the dialogue like they used to be brothers, but Braddock became, dead to hate them, so he kills him. And
he became a warmonger. Like, oh, the only way to have this world is by, by guts and steel.
Yeah.
You always have to fight or order by the sword kind of deal. Where, yeah, you're overthrown by an iron fist kind of,
Yeah. He gets the artifact from Braddock, or like he uses the item he got from the dead English guy to try to unlock the temple. It doesn't work because that's not the key. The apple's the key, which Desmond has in present day. But they go back, and he's like, hey, Chelsea has been a pretty good member so far. It's time we indoctrinate him, or let him in our order. And they say words, and they end with, may the Father of Understanding guide us. And you're like, huh? Excuse me?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We've been here for how many months?
Honestly, this blew my mind. Like, I wish Edwin was here, because he texted me when he got to that part. He was like, oh, Haytham's a Templar? What the fuck?
Right? You played him for like an hour or 2 hours, and we're like, my hands have been tainted. And then, like, Assassin's Creed kind of started playing with the idea.
Yeah.
That's why we got the, what do you call it? The guy with the gun.
Shay Cormac?
Yeah. Like, we got that Assassin's Creed where you play as a defected assassin joining the Templars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like this. We'll get to it later, but like, I do like this because the Templars and the Assassins, they both kind of go into the same goal.
Yeah.
This is our kind of first time seeing it, because like with
that is not so black and white, because
yeah,
earlier like Cesare and his dad, what's the name of the dad? Pope Templar, Rodrigo. We're all like, black and white evil. Like, we're here to establish a new world order where I am the god or ruler. And you're like, alright, this is Star Wars-esque. Black and white.
This is, like, with the older Assassin's Creed, it's always like, I'm bad guy, you're a good guy, you stop me.
Yeah.
No, here we're like, we're both good guys.
Yeah.
How dare you exist?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like that.
And then Desmond wakes up and he's like, what the fuck? He's a Templar? And then his dad's like, calm down. And I forgot to mention this in the beginning that Desmond's mission here is to stop the end of the world. Because the end of the world is 2012. Funny enough.
And they released this after that date, by the way. So it's either this whole thing is a simulation or it never happened.
Right? And by the way, he learns about the end from Revelations, and that's why they're like, we're in a rush. We have to get the key because Juno says we have to, and you do like from time to time when you escape the Animus, you have to get these power sources that unlock the door. And Juno also tells you the story of like, hey, we tried this to save the world. It didn't exactly work, so we tried this, and they keep running out of options. You're like, oh. So we're literally the only hope. Otherwise, the world is fried by the sun. Amazing.
Oh shit, we're also doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get that, and I guess the stress of the chase of the apple and trying to stop the world from ending really took a toll on the group because my god, ever since Revelations, they look so fucking ugly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened in 3, but I guess they kind of rushed it.
Yeah.
The character design and I will say texture wasn't the best for 2012.
No.
Very
Uh,
prehistoric, engines, I guess.
yeah. What's the name of Desmond's dad again? William? William Miles. Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. All I knew he was the asshole.
yeah.
He was
But
an unlikable dad besides Hatham. Hatham was cool.
yeah. Also, they come across Daniel Cross, who is the failed assassin turncoat. So that's another problem. But we all know we don't go to Assassin's Creed to play as Desmond. Not really. Even though he is a fascinating character, we really go there to not really play as an assassin.
Okay.
These guys.
Yes. Okay. I'll point this out because for sure we're going to touch on other Assassin's Creed games later in the future if you feel like it. But this is the thing I don't like about Assassin's Creed. I love Assassin's Creed to be like a political fight between Templars and Assassins. It goes on into the future, but they go back into the past. That's great. I hate this whole past civilization that was way more advanced than we were, that were magical, mystical gods. And I'm like, every time we hit that point, even when I was 13, when this game came out, I was like a baby trying to hold its head up every time we were there. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I just go back to the conflict between Assassins and Templars.
Especially now, like when you get to the Vikings one, how convoluted it becomes. You're just like,
Right? It
oh
ruined
my
the
God.
meta. It ruined the lore of Assassin's Creed, where it could have just been two ideologies fighting against each other. It could have been just like Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It like Metal Gear has like mystical shit, but he don't introduce a god that breaks the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we do go back, and Connor is a young boy, and he's playing hide and seek, but he runs across Charles Lee, and Charles Lee's a dick. He just strangles him. He's like, "Why are you out there?" So you're like, What's your
With a little
problem?
bit of pressure. Yeah. And what's your name?
Yeah.
Charles Lee. I'll remember that.
yeah. He
Yeah.
wakes up after being knocked out, and his village is burning, and you see Zio trapped. You're like, I think she's not gonna make it. This is Ezio's family all over again, except they're not hanging. She dies, and a couple of months or years pass, and he's a man going through this ceremony, and you learn, oh my God, we can climb trees. Jesus
Right?
Christ!
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was the craziest thing about the trailers. Like
Yeah.
even after the unpromised, amazing looking trailer that we got to see Connor climb trees.
Yeah.
And we were like, imagine the possibilities. And we went nuts with that shit.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
hung every red coat on every branch.
And then he does the ceremony, and the elder's like, hey, we have this mystical piece that you need to protect and use to protect these grounds. And it's Minerva from the first civilization. She's like, if you don't do these things, your village will burn. Which is funny considering the end of the game anyway. But seek the symbol. I don't have the assassin symbol with me. And find training. You there, you'll increase your training. Yeah.
It's like
And that's the end of the tale, and Connor's like, wait, I have questions. Bye! You're like, okay.
that. Peace.
Yeah.
Go find a guy named Achilles.
Achilles, yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
A week's passed, and he goes to Achilles' homestead, and he's like, can you help me be an assassin?
Please? No.
No.
That was pretty much it. It was like them
Okay,
going back and forth, saying no, yes, no, yes.
And you find out he has a past because he tells you eventually, because you help stop robbers getting his stuff. And he tells you the tale, and like, I can't imagine how long Achilles took telling Connor the tale of the assassins, knowing how far back it reaches. Like, from Sparta to Bayek of Sio from Egypt, to the Vikings, to now, and Ezio, of course, Ezio and Altair. This is our lineage, and this is the fight against the Templars. I don't know why we had to...
There's also a tale about somewhere in Japan, if y'all have been on the internet.
Yeah. But we don't know if that's before or after AC3. So I wouldn't know.
I would say before.
Really not. Alright. And then he reveals that he was an assassin, and he can't anymore because he has a limp, courtesy of Hatham that you find out in AC Rogue.
I
Yeah.
didn't play Zero.
He put a slug in his leg, basically.
Sick.
Yeah. Shay's also the reason Adewala's no longer in the lore too.
Who?
Edward's first mate, who becomes an assassin. Yeah, he puts them down.
Alright.
Trains Connor, and at the same time, he's like, "Hey, if anyone asks why you're doing this, you just go none, yeah, all right?" He's like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But Connor's impatient, so Achilles is like, "Fine, I'll give you your hidden blades first." And then they go to America to do into a city
No.
to do some tasks.
Yes. Boston.
Yeah, but like things are stirring up, and like they see Connor's dad, and nowhere along the line is Achilles like, "The Grandmaster of the Temple Order in America is your dad." Oh, okay.
Right? From all of the scenes that I saw and remember,
Yeah.
I don't remember Connor ever saying that, like, oh, remember seeing those portraits that you have of these people? Okay, one, how did you get those? Two, that one in the middle is my dad.
You're right.
Like, he never explains it to Achilles, and Achilles is like, alright, but now's not the time to kill him.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Or
He's not
Achilles is not
shocked
like-
or-
I must stop. He just goes full Luke Skywalker.
I feel like I get it was for dramatic effect,
Yeah.
but he was just right there.
Right.
You know, Haytham was just right there. I mean, he could just like, you know,
Right. But I can't because the crowd starts throwing stuff at the British patrol, and Charles Lee ignites the spark, which is the Boston Massacre. And this, ultimately leads to the American Revolution. But before that, Achilles just literally just deserts Connor, and Boston's like, "Bye, hope you make it." And Samuel
Right.
Adams has to help him, and you like get used to like, "Oh, you're a wanted man, obviously, since you're an assassin and you're super sus." So you learn the mechanics of like what Ezio does. And you
yeah,
go-
and like when you see like a wanted poster of yourself, you also found out that you have the skill to create fake news.
yeah,
Just tell the guy, hey, if you say this,
yeah.
you'll get me out of a lot of trouble.
And he confronts Achilles. He's like, "Why did you leave me?" He's like, "Well, experience is the best teacher." He's like, "You bitch," but that's fair.
I don't think so, but okay.
I get your point, but at the same time, motherfucker, I am a Native American in a white city, and I'm wanted.
Yeah. Oh, they did have this dialogue that kind of stuck with me. It was he was with Achilles, and they're like, "Oh, let's get material for your house."
Yeah.
So because it's rickety, it's old, it's gonna break down. And as they go around, Achilles pretty much tells Connor like, "Hey, for you, you could actually pass up for an Italian or a Spanish man
Yeah.
mixed in with English blood." Well, for me, I don't really have that
Yeah.
blessing. Like English, Spanish, Italian, or Native American, you still don't have it as bad as I do. And I was like, damn.
Yeah. And then, honestly, I stayed up super late back in the day just to get the fucking suit. Because you're like, "I don't have the blades, but when can I get the sweet attire Achilles, please?"
Right? Because we played as Hatham, and now we're playing as Connor, and
Yeah.
we're like, I just want the hood.
But no, you have to learn about naval tactics too, and for me, that's the weakest part of the game. Like, I don't like the naval segments.
I
Like-
do like his ship captain costume.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say.
And then from there, you like eventually keep interacting or like meddling with the American Revolution because you participate in the Boston Tea Party, which, this is literally why people complain that the American Revolution is just, in the background. They don't really touch on like, no, why is this starting? They don't tell like, oh, it's because the British keep taxing us because they're broke, because they had a war with France and the rest of Europe for 7 years. And they're like, we should tax the colonies. And the colonists are like, no, you shouldn't. Hell no. And then the Boston Massacre is like, all right, I see how it is. I see how you treat us. And then after the naval segment, you do get your coat. You're like, finally, it's fucking 4 a.m. Jesus Christ.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah.
Because not gonna lie, I also did the same thing. Because I was like, I got the game on my birthday,
Yeah.
and I was like, I have to finish this game. Like, I'll stop playing until I get my suit.
But yeah, that, and then again, you participate in the Boston Tea Party. And then from there, it's kind of like the magic school bus. Like, hey, it's that famous person. Oh my god, it's Benjamin Franklin. Yeah.
Like,
But
we see a lot of historical figures. We also, we saw George Washington at the beginning of the story.
yeah,
We
yeah.
also see Paul Revere, which we'll get to later.
And then one of the tribesmen goes to reach out to Connor. It's like, hey, this guy, William Johnson, is stealing land, and you do your assassin things, gather information, and find out where he is. And
Oh, what a coincidence! He's on my list.
Yeah. And then he has a meeting with the elders, and he's trying to negotiate. They're like, but you broke every treaty. And it's like, you will sign this, or else. They're like, are you threatening us? He's like, I am. And then
Yes.
Connor just kills him. And then from these two assassinations, him and Pitcairn, you're like, I think Connor's doing more harm. Because William Johnson's like, you idiot, I was trying to protect your people. Because the colonials don't care about Native Americans. You think they care? They only care because they're helping. Once that's over, because you're not white, that's gone. They're going to take your land. We're trying to protect you. And that he touches on an interesting point because both colonials and British had both multiple tribes war against each other, but ultimately Washington later on in the war sets villages on fire because they're helping the British, and then they have to escape to Canada, which sends a message like, oh shit, it's better to work for the British. Same with the freed slaves. It's like, you can be free for a while and fight with the Continental Army, but you'll still return to slavery. Whereas in the British, they'll be like, we'll protect you and we'll give you rights, even though after the war they were still not treated equal. But it pales in comparison to how we're being treated in the Continental Army, saying that, oh, if we escape, it's better to join the British. So again, complications that this game skips up on.
Yeah, and Pitcairn?
Pitcairn.
Pitcairn?
Yeah.
I was wondering there was an R in there. Pitcairn, he was supposed to write a treaty, right?
Or
Like, they were
sign a
supposed
truce.
to... Yeah, they were supposed to sign a truce.
Yeah.
And now that's not happening because Connor got in the way.
Yeah, I just feel like he's such a bloodthirsty maniac. They're like, who the fuck is the hooded guy with a hatchet killing our men?
The man just barreling through battlefields for some reason
Going back
comes
a
out alive.
bit, it's nice seeing Connor interact with the real life battles of Lexington and Concord, which is the first battle, and then later on with
Bunker
Bunker
Hill.
Hill. Yeah, it's nice seeing like the city's being shelled by the British Navy, and you have to run through it, and then you get to the trailer point, and then you get riddled with bullets. You're like, oh, the trailer lied.
I wasn't as badass as I thought. No, you idiot! You're supposed to go another way.
I know, but like I thought, well, the trailer told me I could do this. Maybe I can get shot 10
I
times.
also thought the same thing, and I found out like, hey, I could actually go like around the map where there's a border where like the animus kind of starts to sparkle.
Yeah.
You could actually just go there, and there's a cliffside that you could actually climb up, and then you could just get the Pitkin right there.
Yeah.
Like, legit, I just popped out of the bush and like just bow and arrow the pool. Boring, but I'm like,
It
he was
works.
on a horse.
I do like his last words where he's like, you wield your sword like a man, but your mouth like a
A
child.
child. Oh, that was so good.
And then he gives a letter from Pitcairn to Israel. I forgot the last name.
Yeah, Israel. Besides, he had a great voice.
Yeah. And he's the guy who says the iconic line of "Do not fire until you see the whites of their eyes." But he gives a letter and he's like,
I still don't know what that means.
"Until you see their eyes," literally.
Wait, why?
To conserve ammo, because up until this point the American militia was untrained and not the British Army, which is the best army of the time.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Israel Dunham, I think is. I'm sorry, I'm not good with American history. I'm sorry.
From all the information that you've given this review, I doubt that.
Putnam, there we go. Sorry. But yeah, Israel Putnam.
Yeah.
Discovers the letter. He's like, oh shit, they plan to murder Washington. Obviously, we can't have that. But they do bring at some points where like, well, Washington has been losing every time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true.
And you can see Connor is the gray side of this war.
Yeah.
You could see that people who are fighting, like the Templars who are fighting within the British, they have a point. I'm not saying the British had a point. I'm saying those Templars. And then you go to your side, which you thought was your side, which was George Washington. Everybody just blindly follows George Washington.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, he's a great man. He's the man for the job. But then Hatham kind of says a couple of words. I forgot what it was. But they have a point where George Washington isn't really a good guy.
Yeah.
Or really the best guy.
And again, Assassin's Creed skips over, the heavy details when they write the Declaration of Independence of America. They say, in the beginning, all men are created equal and they are endowed with certain inalienable rights, and we don't really, again, it's a video game, I get it, but they don't really touch upon, like, yeah, you say that, but motherfucker Thomas Jefferson owned slaves and so does George Washington.
No. Connor did touch on that. Like, the only, I think he said something right after they wrote the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, right. I like that.
Where he goes, paraphrasing, where he goes, the Declaration benefits but only the whites.
Yeah.
Whether you are Native American, Black, or I think there was another ethnicity, it does not really matter.
Yeah.
Or like it doesn't really affect you the same way as, the white men.
Yeah. And you find out that Charles Lee is part of Continental Congress. You're like, that's funny. Okay. But yeah, he tries to get to Thomas Hickey, who's the next target, and they're both arrested for counterfeiting. They're thrown in jail, and through a friend, Connor escapes. He tries to get to Thomas Hickey, but Charles Lee and Thomas Hickey already have their own plans, and they frame Connor for plotting to kill Washington and killing the sheriff, the ward of the person.
Yeah, ward.
It's a cool sequence because Connor's about to be hanged, but he does the assassin cry, and you call Achilles to your aid. And
you see like assassins, jankily killing people on roofs. I'm like, I feel like that would have been cool if your engine was a little bit better.
And then you kill Thomas again. He's literally in it for the money, because he's like, why? What's independence? Can it buy you a drink? Can it buy you prostitutes? You're like, oh, okay.
No. I see there was philosophy in every kill that you got. Instead of just going,
but
let's
like,
it
doesn't matter.
Right? The thing you're fighting for, once you got it, you don't really have it.
Yeah.
Compared to me, where not me, I'm talking as Thomas Hickey. I could have a beer in one hand and a titty in the other. I've got what I wanted, and I was just there for the money because it was there.
Yeah. While
you fight for something like a cause, and by the end of it, knowing the state of your country, do you really have it? So that was the philosophy with him. I was like, damn, you still have nothing.
Yeah.
It was a bleak
Yeah,
kind of philosophy that he pours down on Connor, and Connor's kind of like, shit,
yeah.
the drunkard got me.
And along the way, Connor and Achilles argue because Achilles is like, no, one of the tenets of the creed is we work in the dark uh, se- to serve the light. There we go. Sorry, I was about to be crucified. But yeah, like we hide in plain sight. We don't go off saying, "Oh, there's a Templar conspiracy," off to anyone who's listened. And Connor's like, "No, but this is for liberty. We have to do this for a bigger cause." And Achilles is like, "In your haste to save the world, boy, don't destroy it."
Damn, game. This fucking game, horrible graphics, but damn, the dialogue's good.
I would say horrible, just like how does average PS3?
Dude, I would say horrible because Brotherhood and Revelations had way better graphics compared to this, and they were games that came out 2 years prior.
I have to do comparison then. But yeah, heavy words, and he's off in Valley Forge. And again, as a history buff, I wish they touch upon like how low Valley Forge was for the Americans, because that's like, we're starving, we have no training, and it takes a Prussian, or in modern terms, a German general who comes from Germany to train them. He's literally like General Luna. General Luna is like a very Napoleonic general for the Philippines. If you didn't know, we're Filipino, hello. And Lafayette, who is French. In the words of Hamilton, immigrants, we get the job done, and it's because of them that they help the Americans achieve independence. But the game really doesn't, touch too much upon that. Just like, again, Magic School was like, hey, here's our best moments, and here's
our
this
best
guy.
moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with our school books, I will admit, it was very black and white. Where
Yeah.
they're like, people who were wearing blue were the good guys because they're the ones who won. The guys in the red were bad because they're trying to take over the land. I'm like, okay.
They also then talk about how Benjamin Franklin asked help from the French, and in helping the Americans, the French people were like, we're helping a republic overthrow a monarchy while we're under a monarchy. I think it's time for change.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's for another Assassin's Creed game, if ever we do that.
I mean, I haven't. I just haven't played it.
Alright. But yeah, goes to Valley Forge, and at that time, he goes hunting for Benjamin Church, and that's the time he's reunited with his father, and his father pounces upon him. He's like, you have any last words? And Connor's like, wait.
Wait, poor choice of words. I love Hatham.
Hatham is like the best protagonist for me in Assassin's Creed.
I would say anti-hero.
Mm.
I would say anti-hero. The man is horrible as a father,
Yeah.
horrible as a person, but he's so charismatic. And
Yeah.
they both are trying to get to the same goal, which was... Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was, I don't know, to be honest. Because, okay, they just want the best of this world.
Yeah.
They want order. Hatham wants order, and what?
The world to be as it is, as the Temper's decree.
Right. Yeah, he wants order. He wants control. Pretty control, but like
Yeah.
to be in a line, while Connor wants to be free.
Yeah.
You can see how one is restricting, the other one is chaotic.
Yeah.
Freedom's nice, but what if everyone has freedom? Especially the lunatics.
Yeah. And then Hatham gives him an ultimatum. He's like, we could work together, or I could kill you now.
I love that. I'm sorry, I love that. What you're doing right now. I wish I got mine.
They work together, and the Benjamin Church mission is a naval mission, and you discover that Church betrayed the Templar Order. And I like Hatham's dialogue. He's like, we had a dream, Benjamin! Starts just cracking his skull with his fist. You're like, damn.
Connor was like, wait, remember what we're here for.
Yeah.
And he asked him the question. Benjamin Church is like, fuck you. And then Connor just stabs him in the side. I was like, your dad could have just done that himself.
Yeah.
But okay.
Sure.
I do like it though that Hatham and Connor just bicker
Yeah.
back and forth with their ideologies.
Yeah.
And you could see both their points. Is it horrible that I'm kind of standing with Halo?
No, because he presents his points very well. You're like, you may have a point.
Yeah, like these, like the things that Washington speaks, they're still privileged men.
Yeah.
Sure, they put honey within their words, but yet, like, you know, just remember who they are.
Yeah.
These men still do not, will not work for you.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. I'm like, shit. Okay.
Speaking of their true nature, like, it's true hate them because Connor's debriefing Washington and Hayden's like, what's this? Hey, Connor, do you want to know what it says?
I love how Hayden has like a John Mulaney moment. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
It's like, Washington says to burn your village down because they are loyal to the British. And then he has a point where it's like, Washington makes excuses. That's all these things except responsibility. You're like, damn.
Like they throwing shade on history right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
you
And
hear that? You're a hero. What's up, fucker?
And Connor's like, both of y'all are full of shit. You Dad, because you really expect me to believe that you just found this out now, Mr. Grandmaster of the Templar Order, and you, Mr. Washington, Mr. All men are created equal. What's this? Oppose me or try to stop me. Oh, sorry. Follow me or try to oppose me, and I will kill you both. You're like,
I love that.
Washington, I think he's serious. You better stay away.
Dude, I love how Connor has already like stapled himself as this unstoppable fucking force.
Yeah.
So even if George Washington is like, how dare you talk to me like that?
Yeah.
Really, Connor? This man destroyed fleets alone.
Yeah. Did you see how many racist men he killed that were under your army? Like, seriously, he killed a lot of British people, but at the same time, he killed a lot of continental soldiers. You're like, no one's complaining. All right, then.
I will say, as much as I love the chemistry within Connor and Hatham,
Yeah.
like, they worked really well. I love this divide. Like, here's the conflict. They have to kill each other.
Yeah. And then you find out that through Connor's friend from the tribe that Charles Lee has twisted words and they believe Connor's the enemy. And this fight feels personal. It's not really a fight, but a quick time event where his friend is like trying to stab him. He's like, don't make me do this. Stab.
You know how outmatched his friend was
Yeah.
at that point?
And then he's like, I just tried to save our people. That's all I wanted to do. And it is an uncertain future. And you're like, thanks to history, this is kind of way more sadder now.
Knowing what happens to these people?
Yeah,
God.
yeah. But Connor does go back to Mormont to aid the army one last time because you find out through Lafayette, like Charles Lee just showed up, issued angry orders, and then retreated like a madman. Connor's like, alright, I'll help you with you in the Battle of Mormont. And Mormont is literally the turning point in the American Revolution because in history it ends with a tie. And for a small army like America's to defeat the greatest army in the world in a tie, you're like, oh, okay, no one's playing anymore. This is real.
Yeah.
And Connor tells Washington, like, enjoy this victory. It's the last I'll hand you. You're like, damn. In front of Lafayette and all the men, you're like, goddamn right, Connor.
This is a very big figure.
Yeah.
And our main character, who we are playing, just pretty much just said, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is the last time you're gonna use me.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love it that Connor... This is Connor's journey of, like, following orders the entire time, following a thought, a belief, as he goes through this entire journey. And just to find out that the best possible way for me
Yeah.
is just to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Because both sides are just horrible.
But he does eventually make up with Achilles because Achilles is like, your words maybe have been harsh that I did just sit on my ass while this order grew. But you're right, and we should do something.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, we had that this week where he kind of like abandons Achilles.
yeah,
This is the part where he dies.
not yet. He dies after you complete all the homestead missions. But yeah, he does get sick. But cutting back to present time for a bit, Desmond's dad is captured by Abstergo, and you have to rescue him. I don't get the Abstergo combat sequences because I get why
I was gonna
America.
say this is why I
have my
really think
flintlock, but Abstergo has like semi-automatic pistols, so like I'm gonna fire.
they're still doing the fucking revolutionary tactics of just like, oh, aim your gun because you only have one shot.
Yeah.
Nah, you got like 15 rounds of whatever that's in that gun. Yeah, this is why I feel like AC3 was rushed because it didn't feel fleshed out.
Yeah.
The worlds were meshed together. Like security would still act like absolute idiots. They would only fire one shot at Desmond until they get punched in the face.
Like none of Abstergo is like Umbrella Court, and none of the guards have machine guns, huh?
Right? You're supposed to be a very big company.
Yeah.
Trying to rule the world. Might as well have a big gun. And I will say, even the red coat sequence where you're in a big battlefield and then you have to use a cannon to take out large amounts of armies. I hated that they all like file in one group and they stay put and then they aim instead of like a realistic people are spread around, they don't want to die. Nah, they're all in single file or like rows of 4 going towards their deaths as like, just targets. Which I really hated.
No bayonet charge. You're like, really? You're this close to me and you don't want to charge? Fine by me, homie.
Right? And that's why I feel like it was rushed.
Also, like...
I'll give it this. It's 2012.
Also, the sequence when he confronts Vedic and he's like, give me the apple or I'll kill you, and Desmond's like, wait, this thing controls people. Hey, you, can you kill him for me?
I forgot that sequence where you have it, and you just like you have like this wave of things that would just kill people. I was like, this ain't fun.
Why didn't you just shoot him first, you fucking idiot?
Right? I'm like, okay, fine. I also don't like the ending. I don't like the ending of 3.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah. Lafayette tells Connor that Charles Lee is hiding within Fort George and they lay besiege to it, or Connor can go underground, but he tells them like wait for my signal and then bombard the town. But unfortunately, they can't tell if Connor's still in it or not, so Connor gets injured in the bombardment, and then he's like, Charles Lee, where are you? And Hatem's like, he's not here, but I am. And then they fight.
Fuck. And it was heartbreaking, but at the same time, kind of like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like, who's gonna win? I know I'm gonna win because I'm the protagonist. But like, will Connor like set him free or kill him?
Yeah. Cannonball explodes in front of them, and Connor's just bleeding. I was like, surrender or I'll kill you. And Hatem's like, brave words for a dying man. No, shh.
I was just bleeding. I'm like, surrender. But a scratch.
Hatem's like, do you know why we keep rising up? It's because all we need is for the world to be as it is, and this is why we'll never, ever stab. Fuck me.
I mean, that was a little bit anticlimactic. Also, bitch with Connor.
Yeah.
Let them finish his dialogue at least.
I do like his last words. He's like, don't expect me to weep or wonder what could have been. I will not beg for forgiveness. But I am proud of you. You've shown great conviction and courage. All remarkable traits. Goodbye.
You gotta love how passive aggressive his last words were.
Yeah.
Like, it was so, like, hey, good job.
Yeah.
But in a condescending way. Like, hey, you did a really good job, but I still don't call you miss.
Yeah.
I was like, ew. That's why I like Hatem. Hatem's like stuck to his guns. He never like tried to pander to Connor. He never was like, but he's my son. No,
Yeah.
he didn't give a fuck. Connor, if Connor's a tool that he could use, he'll use Connor.
Yeah.
That's his entire character, and I loved Hayden for it.
And then we go on the hunt for Charles C. I do like how Connor shaves his head and then puts war makeup on and hunts
And he
him
has a
down.
mohawk.
And then we get one of the strangers sequences because he chases Charles D through a boat they're still trying to build. He gets impaled because he falls through, and Charles D is just mumbling on, doesn't notice that Connor's reaching for his flintlock. And it's like, why do you keep doing what you do? Because no one else will. Gut shots him. And then Charles Lee has the strength to go to the frontier in a bar. So does Connor. And he finds him in that bar. They share a drink. And then Connor stabs him, takes the amulet. And then buries it where his tribe is no more. And Minerva's like, good job! You did what we told you to do. See, your village is safe. He's like, the fuck are you talking about?
They're killing my whole race! There's gotta be a Walmart where my home used to be!
And then, after the whole Kabako lesson, which we'll get to in a bit, like, that's just it! Like, oh shit, my tribe's no more. They moved to Canada. People hate me. Well, at least I have these skills. I can defend myself. And I still have my assassins I can call upon to help me fuck shit up. But as far as you know, that's the end of Connor's tale. Going
Also,
back.
Since we were talking about his assassins, another lazy thing. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations, your assassins wore uniforms. These didn't. They're just regular, simple Joes.
Yeah.
I guess that's what an assassin's supposed to look like, but with a game stylized like this where assassins have like a hood, they have these get-ups, they look cool.
Yeah.
Might as well feel like you're in command of these cool characters.
Yeah, instead of being in charge of a gang, that when they show up, they're like, it feels more like assassins and not like, by order of the Peaky Blinders. Like, what the fuck?
Right? So I was a little bit disappointed there because I do love to see. That's why I love seeing in Brotherhood where when you would call your group,
Yeah.
you could tell that they're your group.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then we get to the most divisive part of this game, which is Desmond's fate. And then he unlocks the door, and Minerva's like, wait, don't listen to Juno. Juno can't be trusted. Juno's like, fine. Tell him what happens if we do let the world end. He's like, alright, it doesn't really end, but the world gets scorched, and you emerge as a new messiah, as a new leader, inspiring these people. But you're mortal, you die, and a religion is built out of you. And then I like the in these words find salvation, and then it gets just like in these words find damnation. You're like, oh, the whole cycle repeats itself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, so we're just doing it all over again. Instead of instead of AD, now it's before Desmond. It's BD now. So I'm like, what the...
And then
I found this stupid, and then the apple case.
and then you find out that Desmond has to sacrifice himself to save the world. And my problem is you don't even have a choice in the matter. It's just like, bzz. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't like Desmond's conflict between I can be the new Messiah, make the world better, and like restart anew. No, it's more of like, here we go. Not like, say with AC Brotherhood where you kill your like supposed love interest.
Yeah. You kill
Who was a spy? Yeah, where you're like trying to stop your hand from like stabbing her.
Yeah.
Here, you really didn't have a choice. Apple zaps you in the most unsatisfactory way, and that's it. You just have fried Desmond.
Yeah, you're like, at least Nathan Drake gets a way better ending. But yeah, like Desmond's story ends so. How do you say bitin in English?
Lackluster.
Lackluster. Yeah. You're like, okay, but back then I was like, Desmond died. Oh no! Now I'm just like, there's a lot.
Is this right? Like we're like, is it Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
No, you're still.
Yeah. And then Juno's like, all right, you played your role well, Desmond. Now it's my turn. You're like, and I don't know if you haven't played past.
So I'm gonna play you next.
You haven't played past Black Flag, right?
Nah.
So this never gets touched upon in any of the games ever again.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, Juno's never mentioned in what do you call the London one?
Syndicate.
Syndicate, Unity, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, none.
I hate this game.
I'm like, I wish I could describe how convoluted it gets, because once you get to Valhalla and how it's so, they're trying to copy the Matrix, but you're like, I don't know what's more incoherent, Colonel Sanders from Matrix 2 or you.
I like what they did with Black Flag. I wish they just started out like this, where it's not a lineage of one dude's bloodline, and we just focused on his ancestors. Even though we did get amazing characters out of it,
Yeah.
it was just a blank face character that just goes into Abstergo and just takes in all of this information, all of this history within this universe, and we just go through it.
Yeah.
We just go, seriously, you don't need to put in gods or the secret Illuminati, which is Abstergo, which is the Templars plot. I just like to go through history, like a sci-fi version of our history that might actually happen. Who knows? Like I don't know. It was a wasted opportunity, and it broke the meta of
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. It really kind of threw away this whole storyline of whoever Desmond was.
All right. All those nice things being said about the ending. I'm sorry.
It's absolute trash.
What would you rate this, honestly?
I will separate the scores because there was two stories being told here. It's the story of Desmond and it's the story of Hayden, Kenway, and Connor. I will give Connor's storyline pretty much an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it was so good. There were so much lines that you could take out of this and keep as words of wisdom. The sequences were fun. Taking over camps were fun. Finding Easter eggs. I remember there was a ghost lady at the lighthouse somewhere in AC3. I don't know if you remember that or you found it, but I found it and it freaked the shit out of me. Or was it just like, a scarecrow? I forgot.
I forget.
Correct us in the comments. We haven't played the game in a while.
I do know you find what do you call the headless horseman? Ichabod Crane. There, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's actually really cool. Yeah, you find like lore, you find Easter eggs, and I love the open world. Sure, the graphics were janky. The controls, the movement of the AI was janky, but the story was so good. Of black and not black and white, it was more of a gray area, and a person being exposed to a world where whichever he goes doesn't feel like the right choice.
Yeah.
And I love that. And then there's Desmond's story where it's straight up 2 out of 10, in my opinion. The whole time they would touch upon the gods, they would touch upon Abstergo. I would, again, baby trying to hold his head up. I wanted to fall asleep. I wanted to go on with my day. And you're just like, come on, wrap it up. Yeah, it's a 2 out of 10. Desmond dies. They never touch on the story again. But they still touch on the whole god situation. I hate. I don't know. I don't like it. But the whole thing that we're there for is the Revolutionary War, Connor's story, and Haytham. That was really good, and that's an 8.5 out of 10.
I'll give this one score. I'll also give this an 8. No, sorry, 7, because Desmond's story.
On the score, it is a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, total score for me at least 7 because Desmond's story is so lackluster and so rushed. But at the same time, Connor's story is pretty good, and though he's not as charismatic as Ezio or other future protagonists, he is still, a very badass character. We didn't really touch upon how cool combat is. Like, even when you, like, counter two people at once, you kill them both at once, you're like, that's pretty sick.
Homie, Connor is such a machine
Yeah.
that you could actually go through red coats with nothing on you.
Yeah.
Like, I do it bare-fisted, and I like it.
Yeah.
Don't clip that. That came out wrong.
Oh, well.
Itching for a fisting.
Yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, story was good, combat good, graphics. I need to do a comparison to see if Brotherhood's better than 3. But like, from what I remember, it was decent for me at least at the time. And going forward, I stopped playing this like senior high school, so my memory's kind of janky. But overall, it's a good entry, and I see why this is a lot of people's favorites. Like, it's considered like underrated Assassin's Creed game, and like I see why. Like, someone would fall in love with this game, and this would be like the turning point of like, you know what, I should check out the other Assassin's Creed games to see what they're all about. That being said, of the Assassin's Creed games you've played, what's your favorite? Or like, what's your ranking?
Ooh, that's hard. From all I played was just little, but I would say, oh god, nah. It gave me emotions like fuck. Black Flag, Brotherhood, Revelations, and then 3.
For me, number 1 would be Origins, because I am very in love with that game. Like, I was very doubtful going into it, but since I am sucker for ancient Egypt, the story got me too. The graphics are amazing, and like, Egypt is the whole country of Egypt, so you can explore Memphis to Cairo to Alexandria, and it just takes your breath away graphically and story-wise. Combat is like Witcher combat at home. You're like, Mom, I want Witcher combat for dinner. Like, we have that for at home, and then you get that. You're like, it could be better. But 2 would be Black Flag, 3 would be Brotherhood, and 4 honestly belongs to Unity, because despite the bugs, I did like how the French Revolution wasn't in the background, and you
I will
did
say I
participate.
love the character customizations. I haven't played it, but I did see some videos on YouTube of character customizations of Unity, and I was like, I like this. This is nice. You could be whatever assassins you want to be.
Yeah. As a fencer, the combat for Unity, for me at least, is the best, because it literally feels like you have to parry at the right time, otherwise you'll get stabbed. But yeah, what are your guys' favorite Assassin's Creed games? I was about to say series, franchise, no, that's a whole thing. But yeah, that's been our video on Assassin's Creed 3, and this is the start of a new series called Press Start. So along this week, we'll be talking about other bigger open world games, and we can't wait to touch upon that, including will be 2 of the biggest ones, I would say. Not like compared to Skyrim, maybe not the biggest, but still pretty impressive. And
It's still alive. They keep reanimating it. It keeps coming back.
like Skyrim. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this start, and if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. If you want to see us react to trailers, please find us on Facebook at facebook.com/geeksanddegenerates. We do trailer reactions, stream video games, and about our lives from time to time. If you want to hear us on the road, we have a Spotify podcast, and to see our greatest moments, we have a TikTok, all under the same name individually. You can find me at Gandalf95 on Instagram and Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at JomGOM_ on Instagram. It is my art account.
Yeah. And that's all the time we have, folks. And remember, we work in the dark to serve the light. We are assassins, and nothing is true, and everything is permitted.
Can't make a hood.
Goodbye.
The only time I don't wear a hoodie.